Okay, hello. So, welcome back to the session. My name is Somajit Goswami, and we are solving CAT 2022 slot 2 questions. This is actually a very important question. It teaches you a lot of things, it tests a lot of things. Averages is one of those areas which, if you're not preparing, properly, you should go and prepare it properly. So, I hope you have seen this question, and I hope that you have at least tried it. And if you haven't given it a try, possibly this is the time. Pause the video and try this one. I'm hoping that you've given it some try. Now let's start with this one. I'll just reduce the palette a little bit just so that I have some space to work. The question is an interesting one. Says the average of a non-decreasing sequence of n numbers a1 a2 all the way till an. So a1 a2 all the way till an, and this average a1 plus a2. Now if I write this like this, is equals to 300. Okay, this is a non-decreasing sequence. What does this mean? Now you have to be very careful of these terms. Non-decreasing sequence, it just simply means that the terms a2 a3 a4 either are going to be greater than a1 or equal to a1. In other words, if you like algebraic terms, a1 will be less than equals a2 will be less than equals a3, and this basically is what it means. I don't really think you need this type of algebraic notion, but yeah, let's use the idea of averages. The second part says if a1 is replaced by 6a1, so instead of a1, if I write 6a1s, the rest of the things remains the same. Actually, instead of writing all of this, you could have just written it like k. A1 plus k by n. These are your summation of the the n minus a1 terms. Similarly, I can write it like this is equal to 400. This is what is given. So when a1 is replaced by 6a1, the new average becomes this thing. Now pretty intuitively, this is given for a very specific reason. This is given so that you can get some sort of a relation between a1 and this n. Now if you do your mathematics, if you do subtracting one from the other, you will get 5a1 is equal to 100n. Now so far so good. Let's constantly make some space. Okay, now what do I have? 5a1 is equal to this, so a1 is equal to 20. This implies that a1 is equal to 20n. Now this is very important. This basically tells you the value of the first term. Okay, the value of the first term, a1 20n, also means that all the other terms, the a2 a3 a4 a5, can also be 20n or a little more than 20n. Now if that is the case, if there are 20, suppose the value of the first one is 20n and all other terms are only 20n itself, because I want the average to be 300. So 20n times n by n, because multiplying by n terms, dividing by n terms, and this is equals to 300, which in turn 20n is equal to 300. So this is basically what I am getting at. Now very easily with this analogy I can get at n is equal to 15. Now what exactly n represent? N is the number of terms. So I have received an upper limit. On the number of terms, which is 15. Can it be 16? Think about it. Can it be 16, 17? Why is it the upper limit is only limited to n is equals to 15? Because if you substitute for 16 terms, remember the first term will be a1, that is 20 into 16. which is 320. Now if the just a second, if the first term is 320, for and all other terms are either equal to 320 or more than 320, think about it logically. Is the average going to be 300? So the average can never be 300 for n is equal to 16. Now that is a very interesting idea, because now my upper limit has been defined at n equals 15. So now you know where we are going. So basically now we are looking at the lower limit. Okay, how do we calculate the lower limit? The same thing, we will use some ideas. Okay, we will substitute the value of, okay, let me make some space. All the important ideas are with you. Okay, so this one I'm substituting for n equals to 1 term. If a1 equal to n equal to 1, so the first term is 20. Now think about it, if there is only one term, that is 20, how can the average be 300? There is only one term, the average will be 20 only. Can we have two terms? Let's see. If we have two terms, or in other words, what I'm trying to arrive at is, if I suppose this to be a2, substituting for n equals to 2, the first term can be 40. There are two terms, remember, we are using for two terms. The first term is 40, the other term can be something adding to 40, dividing by 2 gives me 300. Basically this term can be 560. 560 plus 40 is 600. 600 divided by 2 is 300. So two term is completely possible. This does not violate my condition. Okay, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at n is equal to 15 is my upper limit for this, and n is equal to 2 is my lower limit. And why is this business for upper limit, lower limit? Because we're looking at a string of numbers. So basically a1 can be 2, 3, 4, all the way till 15. How many numbers are there from 2 to 15? So actually they are going to be 14. Now please don't say that it will be 15 minus 2, that is 13. Actually this will be the big number minus the small number plus 1. Okay, so 14 possible values of a1 is there. Okay, I hope you understood this thing. Not a very difficult one, but it actually tests your idea to recall numbers, your ideas to fit in numbers and see whether the average fits into that idea.